you for joining me for this Beltane or 1st of May reading. Beltane is the time when, with the pagan wheel of the year, we celebrate the Celtic goddess Bel, the goddess of fire, as the nature becomes much more powerful, blazing its way to midsummer. This is a festival with many different traditions that many who are pagan and not will celebrate it as Beltane, but equally it is a public holiday in many places, so people think of it anyway as the 1st of summer, regardless of their beliefs. For many people, this is just the feeling that summer is getting going. It's light, it's bright, it's light-hearted. But to come to the rune that I chose with my eyes closed, I might add, I am going to share my screen now, and hopefully this works. Great. So I'm so pleased to have been able to share this properly, because sometimes I have trouble with this, but this loaded beautifully. So to come back to this rune, Thorizaz, it is a very powerful energy, a strong energy. It is not necessarily the first rune that we would think of when we think of the lightness and brightness of summer, or the sentiments of Beltane, with Bel being the fire goddess of the sun, and traditions also around the coming together of the green man and the goddess in the communities in times past, in Celtic communities, although some of these traditions have been resurrected, which I think is wonderful. So what does this rune represent? It's about strength. It's about, for me, the barriers and the boundaries between, sometimes it can work in many different ways, but in this kind of general reading, it is very, very much about the boundaries between us, authority, changes. How do those fit with what we want? How do they fit with where we are hoping to go? And that sort of thing. And I will be in the UK this year for the 1st of May, which I haven't been since 2011. I've always been in Iceland at this time. And I am recording this ahead, actually, on the spring equinox, because I want to travel light. So I want to record it ahead. And it just felt right for me to do that. So here we go. So I do feel that a lot of this that I'm going to say centres specifically on the UK, whether that is because I will be there, that it's worked out this way, I don't know. But I also feel that the changes and the kind of trends that I'm talking about will also fit with other places, perhaps in slightly different ways. But bear in mind that I'm interpreting mostly from the aspect of the UK, and at that time the UK there will be bigger changes that will influence what is happening in the UK. And please don't think that I'm talking about World War III, because I have no awareness of anything of that nature at all. What I'm talking about here, I feel, will be, there's already been a lot of financial tightness, and I feel that the way this is handled is going to create in people's hearts and minds, in a way, a coming together around the questions they want to ask and the changes that they would like to see. So there is a dissatisfaction that is at odds with the joyfulness of Beltane, the joyfulness of this, early summer bank holiday weekend as well, which are not one and the same thing at all. And yet they are both about summer. They are both about, starting to enjoy the summer a little bit more, conscious that we're in the summer, that we are no longer in spring, and so on. And I want to take that consciousness and relate it back to certain things that I feel will be happening in the UK that are extensions of what has already happened, but there will be greater dissatisfaction with regards to the way financial things are handled. And in a way, the theme of the season, of the sunlight that sustains nature, of the fire goddess, who is often also related to blacksmithing, the forging of the iron. And of course, that relates very much to the fire of creation. And when we want to see change happen, we want to see adjustments, we want answers to questions. The fire in the belly in a controlled way is a nice and a useful thing to have. But I feel people in a way coming together around this, which I feel will act as an antidote to some of the divisiveness that has been out there, because we've had quite divisive times, really, what with Brexit and, you know, what with the virus and the different opinions that people have about the way it was handled. There is divisiveness, but I feel with this, it's going to, in a way, encourage people to look beyond those divisions and to look at more what is necessary for more of the people. Because when a lot of people are adversely affected by the way things are handled, and I'm not saying that everything could be just easy, but then there is a gathering together, and that gathering together is very much within the spirit of Beltane or of early summer, of communities gathering together to support one another, and yes, to find joy also, because we need to celebrate, we need to enjoy ourselves. That is so important too. But it's like this rune is coexistent with that. It doesn't take it away, but there are things that are being handled, if I can put it like that people can come together for. And I feel that there will be quite a groundswell of opinion, a consensus of opinion of we need to ask questions, because does it have to be quite as it is, would be a very important question of this at this time. Does it have to act on so many in the way that it is doing, that is quite unhelpful, to say the least? And what would we like instead? I feel these are all hanging in the air, and that can be a positive force for change, a force that is very much in tandem with the spirit of Beltane and the strongest creative force that is within nature during the summer, when that exists in a positive way within hearts and minds, focusing more on what we want. Yes, understanding what the status quo is, but focusing more on what we want and asking, well, why can it not be this way instead of that way? And I feel that there is the energy and the enthusiasm to sustain that. And it does take energy and enthusiasm to sustain that kind of, I won't say pressure, but that kind of reaction to pursue answers has to gather its own strength, its own momentum, its own flame of existence in a way. And I feel that around the time of the 1st of May, this is being lit, because also people have seen how the different ways of responding in different places give rise to different ways of consciousness or modes of mind, I suppose. And people are looking at this a lot more than they were, I feel. They're alive to the fact that we should be asking questions, that we should be looking creatively at the way life is being fashioned and the way that works with the interaction between us, decisions that are made, the rules that are prevailing and how they need to change, and the questions that need to be asked, whether they are heading in a direction that many people think is positive or not, is a very important question, isn't it? And this is what I am seeing for Beltane for the 1st of May. And I thank you for joining me for this reading.